old Nintendo gamer.
And son.
2 years later, it came out on the Game Boy. Zelda game on the Game Boy, Link's Awakening, the game that I'm playing now on the Switch. I played this extensively, more than I've played A Link to the Past, and I played that quite a bit, just because of the handheld factor, and this one's got problems. It has got problems in its structure. Yes, it's a smaller game, but there are things that you are required to do which you have, once again, things I don't like. Like I said, the structure of A Link to the Past on the SNES, it would kind of funnel you to where you need to be and push you along that kind of storyline. Link's Awakening took all that away in a lot of the cases. It says, you get Gabota coming down the owl and going, "Ooh, you need to do this." What? And then off he flies, and you meet the raccoon, for example. I've just done that in the remake. How you were to find out that you needed to find a mushroom, then give that to the witch, who turns it into a powder to put on the raccoon's nose. I don't know how I did it as a kid, but did it? I did. Yes, I can remember even as a child, well, especially as a child, wandering around the overworld, wondering what the hell am I going to do next, because I'm lost and I just don't know what to do. And you've got old man Ulria, who's on the other end of the telephone. If you visit him in his house in Mabe village, he's quite a shy guy, but if you speak to him on the telephone, he'll give you hints and tips throughout the game. Those hints and tips are sparsely located as well. I think the first hint and tip lasts for about 3 hours of the game, going, go to the library. Right, go to the library. And it isn't until you get the run dash that you can actually knock the book down in the library to make him then change his helpful advice. So, yeah, the game is lacking any direction. But as a top-down Zelda in a handheld form, it was still fantastic. Nick?
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed this game back in the day. I think I got this before I got Link to the Past. I do remember playing it definitely on the black and white, the original Game Boy, way before the Pocket or the Color came out, and loving it. I beat it back then. I beat it again a couple of years ago on the Switch, and I do think that version, like, if I ever had wanted to play the game again, I would definitely play the Switch version, because even though the frame rate thing is a big issue, it is essentially the same game, isn't it?
Yes. Everything is in the right place. All my memory of going, I need to go here. Mm-hmm. It's exactly where I remember it. Yeah.
And yeah, I beat it. I had a great time. I think the word I used to describe it was obtuse at times, because you really do just get completely stuck and you've got no idea what to do or where to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't take that long, I guess, to figure it out. You just need to explore the map a couple of times and, oh yeah, I need to go there. That's the next thing I need to do. But yeah, great on the Game Boy. I loved it, and I still do. I don't think I've ever finished it with all the hearts and all the shells. So maybe that's one thing to do in the future. 100% it.
I never played this on the Game Boy Color. It wasn't until I think the 3DS. Was that an ambassador one as well? I can't remember. Or maybe I paid for it on the Virtual Console. I did finish it on the 3DS in color because it had that extra color dungeon. Didn't it?
I remember borrowing it on the color and finishing that extra dungeon as well. Yeah, one I think my best friend had it. It was a black cartridge rather than a grey one, I think.
How about Link's Awakening? Because you weren't such a fan of the Switch version either, Greg.
Definitely not. I didn't play this one back at the time, and it wasn't until it would have been the DX version, which I got a taste of on the 3DS, actually, like yourself. I don't think it was an ambassador game or anything, but it was. I definitely got it for free, and I think it was maybe with coins on the Club Nintendo site or whatever it was. I think it's something along those lines. So only played that a wee bit. Like my wife, if anything, actually played it a wee bit more than me, because I think she maybe did play it when she was younger, but didn't get very far. like you say, I didn't like the Switch remake. And like I can't imagine ever wanting to go through like the Game Boy version, particularly because of like the way like the item management works, like having to change out items every like 2 seconds because you've only got like 2 buttons on the Game Boy or whatever. It's like, no, I could not be dealing with that at all. Like this, I will never ever play this game.
Yeah, there are some screens where you're like, I need a feather here to jump and a bomb or whatever, and then I need the bracelet, and then you can be in one screen and you can change 2 or 3 times. Your item management just constantly, pressing the plus button, and then
like you say, like the not having that like direction of where to go, really, like that would be a nightmare. Like I spoke about it whenever I was talking about the Switch version a few months ago, like the quest that you have to do, like the fetch quest and trading items with everybody, like hadn't a clue. Like I had to look up a guide for that there because no idea.
I might have to again for the bananas. Damn bananas. So I give them to the monkey anyway. So we're moving on to 1998 with Ocarina of Time, and if maybe my enthusiasm towards computer games kind of waned, and then the N64 came, and like GoldenEye and everything like that, and Super Mario 64 reinvigorated my passion for gaming during my university years. And Ocarina of Time came out at the right time as well, 1998. What a game. I remember even watching and looking at the old NGC, or the video...
N64 magazine.
N64 magazine, NGC, it's not NGC, it was N64, yeah. Looking at their old stills, which didn't turn out to be the final game, but, like prototypes of the game and all that. I was just so excited for it before it came out. And when it did come out, that completely... I remember, first of all, thinking, my God, you can't even jump. It was all these revolutionary mechanics. The fighting mechanics in it just were so revolutionary for the time. That Navi lock-on and all that.
Z-targeting.
The Z-targeting. Change the way you fight, rotate around the enemy, strafe in all the time. Absolutely game-breaking. Brilliant stuff. Nick?
Yeah, this was a revolution for me. I think this is probably, until Breath of the Wild, this was always my favourite game of all time, just because of the sort of the feelings that it gave me. The length of the game, it's a good 40, or at least it was when I was a kid, it was a good 40, 50 hour game to get through. The world, by today's standards, is really, really small, but at the time it felt enormous. And
yeah, that feeling when you went out into
Hyrule Field for the first
Hyrule
time.
Field. Amazing.
But even all the sort of the stuff that's there's so many sort of secrets and stuff like that, in the graveyard or on the road up to the castle, the top of Death Mountain. There's always something to find. You've got the circles of stones. You can play a song or you can drop a bomb. There's going to be some secret there, and just absolutely perfect package. I think I have so many good memories of playing this with and all my friends who had N64s. We were all into it, and I remember I had one friend called Ollie who beat it 20 times in a row because he loved it so much. And I eventually, I think it was on my second or third playthrough, I did 100% this game, all heart pieces, all sculptures, and it took me a very, very, very long time, but it was 100% worth it. I think I may have used the guide as well, actually, for a couple of the heart pieces, but. Yeah, it was the new, I think for me this was way more revolutionary and groundbreaking than Mario 64. It's just a genre I prefer. And yeah, like you said, they got so many new innovations like Z-targeting and the sort of jumping as you go off a ledge and stuff like that. Yeah, just what a wonderful game. Played through it again on the 3DS about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's still great. It still holds up really well. I still remember exactly where to go. I know exactly what I need to do. And I really liked, actually, the 3DS remake. I think it looks really nice in 3D. They improved the graphics to sort of a GameCube level, and the world just looks and feels so much more alive than it did on the N64. So I'd recommend playing
and
that
that
one.
soundtrack.
Yeah, soundtrack as well. Phenomenal.
I still get goosebumps riding up the Gerudo Valley on that piece.
The guitars,
you know what it is,
it's
isn't it?
great.
Yeah, the guitars. It's absolutely amazing. Greg?
Well, this was the one for me. Obviously, like the Zelda games we've talked about already, none of them have had done anything for me, and like I hadn't even played some of them by then. So this was the one for me. I remember picking it up for £20 in Woolworths back at the time, and got home. And like even up to this point on like in the N64, I'd never actually really played anything like this. No sort of like adventure-y sort of games. So when I got this and like I was exploring like Kokiri Forest and stuff at the start to go and find the sword and whatnot, like it was something different, and getting used to like the Z targeting and all, I thought that was all really cool. And but even going into like the Deku Tree for the first time and like trying to figure out what to do with like using the stick to like light it and stuff, and then go and like burn the big webs or whatever it is out of the way. It all felt really new to me because I'd never really done anything about that before. So it maybe like took me a while to like, properly get into it. And I remember like a fella at school had it as well, and I got stuck at a bit. It's, you know, when you have to go inside Lord Jabu Jabu's belly or whatever it is. I was like, I didn't know how to get into it really. Obviously, like I hadn't maybe like read the clues properly ever, but I never really thought about catching a fish in a bottle or anything and then like emptying it out. So it's all different. And so whenever I'd done that there and then like got like the three gems or stones or whatever you call them, like, and then the whole game opens up and it's like, wow, there's just so much to this here. And it was just like, it was absolutely brilliant. And Nick said about the open world, like nowadays it doesn't look that big or anything, but like it doesn't need to be any bigger. And I find a lot of games nowadays like are like big for the sake of being big, just so they can say, oh, this is the biggest map in video game history or something. It's like, no, it doesn't need to be like, even that the open world in Ocarina of Time, like there's not that much in Hyrule Field really to interact with. It's just but yeah, it's an absolutely brilliant game, and that I've actually been thinking recently about dipping into the 3DS version again because I kind of want to play it.
I've been trying to persuade my son to pick it up, either get him into a Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time 3D on a 3DS, because he's still playing 3DS games. Definitely worth it if the 3DS version is the pinnacle as well. Yeah.
Absolutely holds up. It's a great game.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.